And what we will be doing, okay, is we're going to practice. It's called Insight Meditation Out Loud. Okay. So what we will do is, let's say, for example, we're in the same room together. It's so much nicer when we're doing this in person and we're facing each other. And what we do is one practices to be the listener, and then the other is the speaker. So I will be the speaker for the sake of demonstrating, and you will be the listener. And what I will do as the speaker is that I will say out loud what I'm aware of in this moment. And you just presence that. You're witnessing. Okay? So we can start. So I am aware of feeling nervous. I'm aware of my smile, and I'm aware of closing my eyes. I'm aware of looking at you, looking at the screen. I'm aware of the background, that painting behind me from my periphery. I'm aware of moving my hands. And I'm aware of taking a deep breath and closing my eyes. I'm aware of the sounds around me, the life. And then I'm aware of my tongue and in my mouth, it feels dry because of the heat. Again, I'm closing my eyes. Okay, that's how it is. Do you want to try, Maki?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm aware of my heart beating faster than usual. I'm aware of the layout of the Zoom screen in front of me, and I can see tiny heads moving ever so gently. I'm aware of very gentle silence because of my headphones and how it's designed. I'm aware of the visual in front of me, particularly the painting you have of a man uh, with clouds as his head. I'm aware that I just took one deep breath.
Great. Thank you, Maki. Exactly. So what we're doing is one person is speaking and sharing what's happening, what is the mind doing, what are we aware of. It's because the mind is always moving, right? And then most of the time we don't notice. How was that for you, Maki?
Really good practice, because this is something that most people with very little practice might see the benefit to, like being aware moment by moment what runs in your head, that those thoughts that without leads to automaticity can have a huge impact in the way you live, in the way you have relations with others, in the way you communicate with others.
Thank you. And then as a listener, what we're doing when we listen to our partner is that we really bring our attention to what's being said, to really hold space for that person. And while you're listening, you'll also notice that there's things happening within you. Did you experience that too, Maki? While you were listening, did you notice thoughts maybe come up, or maybe some sensations in your body that came up?
What I was thinking as I was listening is, am I gonna be asked to repeat like what I is saying, and in what order is she saying these things? So I think part of what we have become accustomed to is sometimes the problem is we listen with the intention to respond versus we listen with just the intention to just purely listen. And so that I caught that while I was, like you mentioned so many things, and I have a very limited capacity to hold things in my working memory. And I was like, if Amy's gonna ask me to repeat what she's aware of, I'm the only thing I'd be able to mirror back is that she's aware that she's feeling nervous, and that's
Thank you. So this, it's great, even when you notice that, because that's really good tracking. When you notice that there was this maybe worry that you were going to be asked to do something and to mirror back, that noticing it and catching yourself is already really good mindfulness too. And another thing that I want to add to that is that sometimes, and maybe a lot of the times, we're we're thinking that we're going to be asked to perform in some way,
Mm,
right? So so when we communicate with people, there's times when we're planning, we're rehearsing what we're going to
yes.
say so that we sound smart, so that we're liked by the people that we're talking to, and that becomes manufactured. It's not authentic, it's not real. So when we did that practice just now, it's like, okay, well, my heart is beating fast, or I'm taking a deep breath. So it might allow for you to learn how to practice authenticity in a way that you can communicate what's really real for you. And that's really important. So
I
thank
was
you.
interestingly, I was, in earlier when I was doing my meditation this morning, one of the thoughts that came to mind is this idea that I don't need to respond to every single question, right? The ability to just be at peace with not having an answer, not responding. I think most people get caught up with this notion that when a question is posed, when a problem is presented, that I need to have the solution, that I need to provide the answer. When at times it's actually just okay to, and it's perfect to actually not have a solution, to not have an answer, to just be with a question as it is, and not have to solve, not have to prove to the world that you have the solutions to everything. And so this was very helpful.
Thank you, Maki. And that's such a good point, because very often, maybe you've experienced this with your wife or your partner or your previous situations where, your employees come to you perhaps, and then they ask you about something, or they're talking to you about something that happened. And then many of us think that we have to solve it and give advice, right? And especially when things like, when people come to us and they're not having such an easy time, or they're feeling emotional, it makes us feel uncomfortable and we want to solve it right away so that it's finished and we don't have to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
But what is so important to know is that sometimes people just want to be listened to. So that's what the point that you were making too, that you don't have to solve anything, just to listen is enough, because being heard is already the first step toward healing and figuring out whatever solution is needed.
I think it's very important also for the teachers to recognize that, because as teachers, sometimes we think that we should have all the answers to the questions, and our credibility is going to be impacted if we don't. Um, and know that it's okay to not know everything. In fact, I don't know so many things, and be okay with that.
That's really good modeling too. That's modeling authenticity. And then also allowing for people to, like, to know that it's okay not to be perfect, because that striving for perfection is a very real thing for many people. and it's so stressful. It causes a lot of pain and suffering internally, you know. I don't know if anybody here can relate to that. This perfectionism that's always haunting us, you know. So thank you, Mackie. I really, really appreciate, and I really love doing this way, you know, having a dialogue and a conversation with you. I hope that we can continue to do this.